Bam! Oh my gosh, we're live. Da, 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 da. No, I don't know the actual whole theme song. Anyways, hello everybody. Welcome to episode 194. We have what is kind of going to be considered a makeshift episode. This is thanks to
Yes.
Ben, doing things on his side. Matt is currently on vacation. Josh is on vacation. They're actually on vacation together. They take a big family trip every single year. And then Evan is on vacation. So Ben and I were like, hey, let's still do the show. We were trying to find another guest host, but unfortunately, with how quick everything happens, we weren't able to lock one down. We had Hannah McBeth as a potential. She was good up until about 6 hours ago. She wasn't. She said she wasn't feeling great. So if everyone can just blame Hannah in the chat, then we're great. Just kidding. Don't do that. She's awesome. Anyways, this episode is presented by Disc Golf 978. Go to their store and check out for all your online needs. Tournament directors in the New England area or all over the country and possibly all over the world. Check it out. They are great help to do tournaments. They help you out every single step of the way. You can do your payouts through them for the amateurs. They're amazing. They've got a store over at Meadowbrook Orchards. Go check them out
Yep.
in person at the store as well. You can see our boy Marky Chap and all that good stuff. Use code WeLove978 for all your disc golf needs over at discgolf978.com. Right? Discgolf978.com or
.com,
978.com.
yes. They're the
.com.
best. Choose them for the
Exactly.
tournaments and everything.
Yeah.
They really have it all. So yeah, big shout out to Nice. They're so dedicated to the community. They went to Jor Lemon, which is in New York, like some random town in New York about like 2.5 hours away, and then they slept in their pro shop trailer and then came all the way back to Crane Hill for the next day to
For the Crane Hill
vent that.
Open.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
Yeah. They're
they
cool. Very,
they
very
are
dedicated people.
beasts.
Yeah. They're amazing. And if you ever get a chance to meet them in person, you'll see why we love them so much. We love
Yes.
978. So, anyways, we had a jam packed weekend of disc golf tournaments. Now, biggest one, probably, you could argue about this, but one of the biggest ones being the Elite Series event happening over at the Turku Open, powered by Prodigy. And just to pretty much jump right into it, we're going to go to the FPO side. Silva Saarinen, and I'm going to butcher all these names, and I'm terribly sorry, but she was able to take it down, shooting negative 11 overall, winning 3,150 euros. I think they use euros over there. Is that what that symbol is? Might be.
Might be.
Anyways, and then in second place, Evelina Salonen. And in third place, who was actually my lock for this weekend, was Henna Blumroos.
Me too.
Heidi Lane popping out the final four on that. Some notable names that we've talked about in the past before. Katie Tati with an 8th place finish. She's a great friend of Kristen Tatar, a phenomenal player. Rachel Turton, who we've seen over in the U.S. a lot this year. So a lot of great names playing over there. And then on the MPO side, no stranger to the winner's circle, but Niklas Antila was able to take it down, negative 25 overall. He bested James Proctor by 2, and then Mari Vilman by 3, was able to pop off a 1081 final round, 12 down. If you saw the Disc Golf Pro Tour highlights, he had some insanely good putting that round, which has been one of the things that, he's a great thrower of the disc, but hasn't always been the most consistent putter. Some of the putts that he was making, a lot of players were saying these are some of the best putts they've seen all year this year. Some other notable names, like I said, James Proctor coming over from the U.S., Jakub Semerad, we've talked about many times. Jesse Niemanen, silver lot with an 8th place finish. Eric Oakley was at this event. He ended up actually having 2 pretty good rounds at the end to bring himself back up into cash, tying Vino Makala. And then what I found out today, this event was actually ran by Seppo Paiu, who is one of the most fun players. If you ever got a chance to watch him before he kind of retired from playing, one of the most fun players to watch. Incredible thrower of the disc. Big Prodigy named guy. And we have some news about Prodigy later that we'll let Ben bring up in just a little bit. But for the Elite Series event, that is, pretty much that. A lot of players headed over to the pond early. We have another U.S. event coming up, but then we have a big European swing happening soon. And we're excited to see all the coverage from the courses over there. Big tournament that was happening in the U.S. was the 2024 PDGA Professionals Masters Disc Golf World Championships. So Masters Worlds was happening out in Emporia, Kansas. They were playing Jones East, Champions Landing, and then for other divisions, multiple other courses. But absolutely dominating the MP40 division is Joe Rivera, shooting minus 45 over the course of 5 rounds and a final 9. That was 14 strokes better than second place. And he was able to take home $5,300, which is pretty awesome when you're winning by 14 strokes and you're just getting a fat payday from that. So shout out to Joe Rivera for that incredible Colorado player. Still is very well in contention with the young guns whenever he goes to big events. I remember, back in 2014, maybe it was, is when he was lead card at Maple Hills when I was just getting into disc golf. And I remember back then I was like, wow, this dude can crush a disc, trying to emulate his form. But those Colorado throwers just know how to rip a disc as hard as they can. Second place was Mika Leiko from Finland, Jeff Face, and then a previous world champion, 2010 world champion, Eric McCabe, was able to round out the fourth place finish at that one. I thought Eric had a pretty cool post on Twitter. He was talking about, hey, I made the final 9 and there's nowhere but up for me, so I'm just going to go balls to the wall with it. So it's either shoot 9 down or 9 over. He didn't really care. He ended up shooting that round. I think it was only 1 over. But still in an awesome contention, still took home $1,900 and a great tournament nonetheless from him. But still getting bested by 19 strokes, which is just insanity.
Yeah.
On the FP40 side, Own Scoggins, Ben. She dominates in the regular Elite Series events with, regular FPO players. She does very, very well at it. She's got some wins. She is one of the best putters in the world, if not the best FPO putter. Do you know how much she won by in the FP40 division?
I remember, I recalled a stat reading it, but I don't remember. I'm going to say like 25.
That's what it was. 25.
Okay, so I did remember.
Yeah, winning $1,500 for it. So I did notice that, I don't know if it was this year or in the last couple of years, they started actually branching off a couple of divisions. So you would have like FP40, or I should say FP50 and then FP55, rather than having it be FP50 and then FP60. They kind of broke the two divisions a little bit. So some of the fields were a little bit smaller, but rounding out the FP40 division, Owen Scoggins obviously winning it by an incredible amount. Jennifer Allen, who is another great player. And then Stephanie Vincent was your third place finisher. And heading over to the MP50 side, we'll do MP50 and then FP50 and call it good from there. But Johnny McRae shooting an amazing last 2 rounds to come out and win, which technically for him is back-to-back FP50 or MP50 world titles. Now, he missed last year due to the big heart attack issue that he had, and he was able to come back this year and just etch out Brian Schweberger. Schweby's a great friend of mine. I was definitely rooting on him, but now that I can call myself a Floridian, I got to root on Johnny McRae. I've been able to go to a league or two with him, and such a great dude. He's come out to Olympus a couple times. We get some good chatting in. And Justin McLean getting third place, and the FP50 side, none other than Juliana Korver winning by 10 strokes. So there's your recap on Masters Worlds. We have some new world championships crowned, or world champions crowned. And then I did not know this was even going on, but we had a Q Series. We had the Disc Golf Pro Tour Q Series event. It was a 2024 Infinite Discs Beehive Classic. It was in it was at the Fort in Ogden, Utah. I used to love that course. Connor Rock was able to win it on the MPO side, and if you don't know who Connor Rock is, check us out a couple episodes ago. We actually did a great interview with him after he had won the Las Vegas Challenge this year over an absolutely incredible field. But he was able to win by 1 stroke, shooting 5 down the final round, taking home $2,000, just over Nicholas Gill, Jaden Rye, and Cooper Johnson. All great players, all 14 down, 13 down, 10 down, 9 down. So pretty tight race. On the FPO side, we had Karina Knowles from Utah beating Vanessa Van Dyken, Hannah Stefanovich, and Emily Yale, shooting 9 over overall for the event, but getting a Q Series win. Vanessa Van Dyken is actually my pop pick for the Preserve Championships coming up, so I'm hoping some good confidence coming in from this event. Going over to the Preserve, hopefully that will help out my points because everybody knows I'm not great at picking players right now.
Dude, I struggled this last week.
So realistically, I mean, those are the big events that we had going on this past weekend. I know there was a ton of A tiers happening. Great one was the Birdie Open down in Delaware over at Iron Hill. Such a fun course. If you guys ever get a chance to get out to Iron Hill, check it out. It's what long, beautiful wooded disc golf is all about. Besides for hole 2, I think pretty much every other hole is in the woods there. But there is your event recap. Sorry, it's not as in-depth as Statmando and Evan Kearns gives us. But when they're on vacation, we make do with what the PDGA provides us.
Yeah, it's Evan's
that's
job,
that.
so it's not ours. So it's
Yeah,
a little tougher
exactly.
to get all
That's
these stats that he's
yeah.
analyzing all weekend long.
Needless to say, incredible events going on. We have another big Elite Series event coming up that we will talk about towards the start of the new hour or the next hour. We'll talk about that when we get into our pop drop lock picks. But Ben, we had some wild news hit the disc golf world today.
Yeah,
Talk to
so
us about it.
Kevin Jones up mid-season says, "See you later, Prodigy," and it is a shock to say the least. I'm just gonna read Kevin's caption and then I'm gonna read Prodigy's caption. So Kevin says, "Goodbye, Prodigy. It's been a fun 5.5 years. If you picked up a reverb, distortion, or feedback to support me, I want to give a huge thank you. Your support is huge. In the meantime, my website is going to be 60% off all discs when you use 2024 KG. See if there's anything you like. Exciting news coming soon." So, and then I'll just read Prodigy's real quick. For 6 years, Kevin Jones has embodied everything Prodigy stands for: dedication, creativity, and excellence. From winning the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship to the iconic slip bass in his fan-favorite collab molds, we'd like to thank Kevin. The energy and impact he's made on our company and the sport of disc golf has been incredible. We wish KJ all the best in his next chapter. You gotta raise eyebrows. I mean, props to Prodigy. They give a really, really awesome thing, but just the way Kevin was speaking and how it's mid-round, the caption just said, "Goodbye, Prodigy. It's been a fun 5.5 years." It's
With a
you gotta,
period and a period, like no
yeah,
exclamation point. It's just like goodbye, Prodigy. Dot. It's been a great 5.5 years.
yeah.
Dot.
You gotta speculate that it didn't end that well because obviously his contract wasn't up. I remember I think it was 2 seasons ago where they signed him for like a big deal and it was like Kevin Jones is signing. So his contract wasn't up. I'm guessing someone wasn't happy and they just split, but it's a little surprising mid-season that, he couldn't have held on at least till the end. So like I don't know what happened, but I'm guessing something must have happened where it was like whether it's he just didn't feel like throwing it anymore or something internal. So it's honestly a shock. I know when Evan texted us in the group chat like Kevin Jones left Prodigy, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
So it's been, but he also has been struggling recently for the past 2 years on the tour. So that could be maybe he just needs something new and fresh to kind of reignite that spark. I know that's what Simon was talking about when he kind of signed the MVP, that he wanted that spark again of feeling new discs and stuff like that. So that could also be the reason where it's just like he wants to pick up his game, and that was the key, is just finding a new manufacturer to throw discs.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, we don't have the inside scoop on what
Not
is
at
going
all.
on behind the scenes. I don't have anything, but kind of in a speculation standpoint, when you're looking at it, Kevin, once Chris Dickerson left, before Isaac Robinson and kind of Gannon Burr rose up, Kevin Jones was kind of the guy at Prodigy. He's got the collab line with them, the reverb, the feedback, all those different discs, the distortion. You have Kale Leveska as well, who's just a longtime Prodigy guy, one of the technical, I think, percent owners in the company as well. Kevin, from just speculation, I'm assuming probably had a pretty decent contract with them. I think for a while he was their number one guy. But
Yeah,
then
I
you
believe it was a
had
good contract. If I were
yeah,
to
but then you
guess,
had
yeah.
the ranks of like Gannon Burr coming up. Then you had Isaac Robinson. He wins 2 majors in a single year. Gannon Burr won a major with them. I mean, you have players, these young guns. You had the Alden Harrises, and now you got Ezra Robinson as well. Alden and Gannon both leave. Isaac and Ezra stay. So you're kind of top two guys right now, and arguably the best player on Prodigy's team for the MPO side, I would definitely say is Ezra Robinson right now. Like I feel like we're talking about him almost week in and week out
Yeah,
currently.
I'd agree with you
Even
right
a little
now.
bit
Yeah.
more than Isaac. Isaac's kind of having a slower start to the year. We haven't seen him pop off a big win yet. We've already gone through Champions Cup at a course that you would see Isaac doing well at. But we haven't really, really talked about Isaac too much. A couple league cards, but hasn't really made the push for a big finish yet. Ezra, on the other hand, has had a couple chances, actually. He's got multiple A-tier wins this year, but then he's also had a couple league car finishes, close to winning tournaments, second place, third place, whatever. But we're talking about him a lot. The only thing we're talking about Kevin Jones right now he's not performing well. He's not performing well. He's not performing well. It's what we've been saying all year. It's kind of when we look, I was just looking at the pop, drop, and lock. He's averaging 50th place right now. Your top paid guy should not be averaging 50th place right now. With no, like, and don't get me wrong, I know top players, they have a downfall at sometimes too. I mean, we can look at it. Look, Paul this year, struggling with an injury. He's not able to finish out the events right now. Second place, though, at Music City Open. So at least there's that spark. You know he can do it. Kevin Jones, we haven't really talked to in that way yet. So this is where it's kind of like, okay, did Prodigy say, hey, you really need to step up your game, or we're going to null and void the contract? Or was Kevin finally like, you know what, I can't do it anymore. I want to go to an open bag or another company. I can't imagine he re-signs with a big company middle of the season. I'm assuming he'll probably go open bag for the rest of the year, which is actually kind of how Kevin Jones got, when he was a Pro Discus sponsored player.
Yeah, Pro Discus.
He was throwing a mixed bag with a couple Pro Discus discs in there and then signed over with Prodigy. So this is where it's kind of like, it's all speculation right now. Can't really say too much on it, except definitely was not what I was expecting to hear today. Best of luck to him. I hope this kind of reignites it. I know, you kind of read on Twitter, Instagram, all these different things, people saying, all the speculation that goes around it, people talking about, oh, is he going to retire? Is he done for the rest of the year? I don't think any of those things are going to happen. I literally think he's just going to go open bag for a little bit, maybe try to reignite the spark in himself. I could totally see him going to a company like Infinite or Thought Space, both big in the open bag. Thought Space with a little bit more, throwing their plastic, but still an open bag nonetheless. We see a lot of players who are Infinite, Thought Space, Clash, they've got Hooligan. You've got multiple different companies that you can kind of be sponsored by and still be able to throw some discs that maybe he's missing. So definitely, like I said, was not what I was expecting today.
That's a good point you bring up. That I didn't really think about that. Maybe it's just like Prodigy's like, he's not performing well. Like maybe they're starting to work on kind of their next year signings. I mean, I know it's a little early in the season, but you have to kind of put the bug in the players' ears. So during the off season you can. So maybe it's just like freeing up some space, because I can imagine that contract was a pretty good contract. Just because when it was signed, how it was announced, and all that, with all he had his own line. So I could imagine that it was a decent chunk of change, and I could see both sides where it was probably, it could be a mutual agreement where one expressed discomfort and the other was like, yeah, we can let you go. And not,
Yeah, it could literally, it could turn into, hey, by the way, your performance hasn't been great. Let's say the last 2 years in 2025, we're going to drop the contract down. And that could be opening up some money to, like you were saying, give to another player. He could look at that now and just be like, yeah, no, that's not going to fly. And maybe start shopping early around. I don't know. Like I said, I don't think he's going to sign with anyone. Yeah, we'll see. It's something that we got to wait another 6 months to really talk about and actually fully talk about it. But just to let you guys know, we have Zach from the Paul McBeth Foundation coming on, and also Missy Gannon. They're going to be talking about their NYC project that they just did out in New York City. Talk about all of that. We, realistically, actually thought that the event recap and talking about Kevin Jones stuff was going to take another 10 minutes. So Ben and I are kind of just casually talking disc golf right now. If anyone in the chat has anything that they want spoken about or anything, we can
ask
bring
us some
it up.
questions. Obviously, if you guys are watching on YouTube, it's like a completely different setup. This is more of a kind of off the cuff episode. We just wanted to make sure we didn't skip another week because we want to provide fans. So that's why it's just me and Nick.
It's summertime. Everyone's traveling. Everyone's doing fun vacations. Look, in 4 days, I'm about to be in Scotland. So I'm going overseas for like 10 days, my first time ever, so I'm super excited about that.
That's awesome.
If anyone's ever been to Scotland, tell me what's good. Also, what I don't see in our chat right now is all the Dallas Maverick fans who are saying they were going to sweep the Celtics. I'm just saying, I don't see any of you guys in chat. Daniel, where are you at? To I Love Disc Golf, how's the course coming, Nick? Am I enjoying it? Absolutely. I'm loving it. It is super hot here in Florida right now. It's about 95 degrees every single day. Today I did a bunch of weed whacking, which when it's super hot out is not the most fun. But all in all, it's been great. We're in our final stages of rezoning the project, or the property. And we're hoping June 25th, we will get the okay to be able to fully open back up. More than likely, we're going to be opening back up on the course July and probably middle of July. But for the most part, I'm absolutely loving it. Florida's super great. Went to a couple beaches this past weekend. It was incredible. And yeah, all in all, it's been pretty good.
Is that shirt you're wearing custom chess.com shirt?
This is a chess shirt that I was able to get at, I don't know if you can really see it, but it's a bunch of rooks on the shirt. And I got it at the chess.com invitational. So next year, when we do the big event, come on down to Florida. You can get some cool swag. I got it, and I actually totally forgot that I have a black green screen behind me. So Todd Bouchard made a funny comment. He said it looks like just my head is talking. Oh, obviously my head's the one talking, but it looks like I just have a head and a couple arms. But anyways, oh yeah, Q Series finale. We were just talking about the Q Series event. The Q Series finale is happening at Olympus. I'm actually probably in the next day or two. I have a meeting with the Pro Tour to talk about all the logistics with it. But in October, we're going to host the Q Series finale here down in Brooksville, Florida, and we're super excited about that. Actually, for anyone that is local to this area or anyone that has played or planning on playing, I've currently been redesigning a hole 16. We're going to move it so I can open up my access road that the play currently kind of plays down. The hole plays down right now. We are moving it into the woods. We're going to have more of a wooded shot, which we don't have a lot of those at Olympus when it comes to just straight up technical wooded shots. We don't have a lot of those. And so I've been super excited about that. I did majority of the cutting and kind of the mulching that I want to do with it so far, but I am going to wait a little bit longer for kind of Paul's final okay to say, okay, these are the last few that we need to cut down, trim these up, and then bam, we have a brand new hole. So super excited about that. I'm potentially going to go over to St. Andrews. I really want to. I think it's about an hour and a half from where we land, so I'd have to rent a car and get up there. But the one day that I actually have free to kind of explore is the first day that I get there, and I think I land in Scotland around 6 or 7 in the morning. So potentially my father and I will go up to St. Andrews. I'm not going to play as much as I wish I could, but I'll probably buy like a quarter zip or a rain jacket or something like that from the pro shop because I definitely want something. Let's see.
Ubaldo,
I'm just kind of going down.
Ubaldo asks, with Gannon popping off, it still doesn't feel like Discmania is trending up. Why do you think that is? I personally think Discmania is trending up in my eyes personally. I think it was the last Pro Tour Discmania made a post where it was like there's 5 people in their top 10 or something like that with like Gavin Babcock, Kyle Klein, Gannon, and probably I don't know, but I read something like that. And Niklas just got a win with an Elite Series. So in my opinion, I think Discmania, hot take, is doing the best out of all the teams right now, just because Gannon Burr is just winning, and then they have other supporting casts to really like showcase that these discs work, and they sign a really good group of young players. It's kind of crazy just how when they lost Simon, it was like the end of the world. Then they lost Eagles, like the end of the world. But it's crazy how they kind of pivoted and focused on kind of the next generation, and it's been working out for them.
Yeah, definitely.
And Casey too. Yeah, I can't believe I forgot Casey.
Yeah,
Casey's been playing incredible. So shout out Casey.
Yeah, no, Casey White's been playing awesome. Discmania itself, they have been playing great. This is what I'm curious of. Is I've been a Discraft sponsor player since middle of 2018, so I'm going on just about 6 years now, strictly throwing Discraft plastic. Now in the off season or casually with friends, I've thrown some other discs from other companies. A lot of discs do the same thing that other companies have their discs do. And so I'm curious because I haven't bought a disc in forever, especially one outside of Discraft. Are people still buying loads and loads of discs? Like, I feel like the disc golf market itself right now is super saturated. It's also kind of tough, and I see this from the business standpoint of running a pro shop when we are open at Olympus, is the pricing of discs have gone up significantly since I first started playing disc golf. And, and this is, kind of shots fired, but not really shots fired. But like Ricky's latest disc, after shipping, you buy from DD's page, I think after shipping and everything like that, it's like $42 for a single disc, which to me is, unless it's a limited edition disc. Like I remember I spent on dollar disc golf auctions, I think I spent $50 one time for the first run ever of Big Z Zeus's. And it was a really, really cool American flag stamp one, or red, white, and blue. And had a nice pop top to it. Actually, I'm 99% sure I bought it from Casey White when he got them. And but that's the most I've ever paid for a disc, I think. And when I saw it was like $42 just to get one disc from DD's website, I was like kind of blown away like that. But I don't know. There's so many companies now that have great lineups. They have full lineups. You know, we have 10, 15 different companies that you can really go and throw a full line of discs at this point. But I mean, discs, the prices add up. I think when I started playing, ESP Plastic was like $14.99 or $15.99, and then now it's $19.99 or $20, and it adds up quickly.
Yeah.
And so that's where I'm just kind of curious. Is like a lot of people say, you know, it's up to the manufacturers to market their players. When a player wins, you want to see the best marketing done from it. So you could see the growth kind of in and of itself like that. But at the same time, Discmania still right now, though they have incredible players, Gannon Burr is still not the most marketable player compared to someone like Simon or Eagle, who have been in the game far longer.
Agreed.
And, you know, Simon being one of the most marketable people in the world. So regardless, with Simon leaving, Eagle leaving, Discmania was going to take a huge drop off. You can have Gannon Burr, who for the next 3 years might be the best player, but it's going to take time for him to really build up the same way that Simon, Eagle, Paul, Ricky, those players have built up.
Yeah, like me personally, like I've been in disc golf since 2021, where like I've been actually in the community and stuff like that, and I just can't like afford losing $30 discs every other day that I play, because I lose a lot of this. So like my full bag is just in of a like factory stores, just because you can get factory store discs, just because you can get like 10 discs for $80 or something like that, because they run good deals where it's like $8 a disc. So that's where I've been finding myself. So it is crazy to see kind of people willing to spend that much, but I'd be curious too, as like who is that, who, like what buy box that person checks off. Are they buying it because they're a disc golf fan, or because they want a new disc? Like my buy box is because I don't want to lose so much money. Like I'm just buying the cheapest quality disc. So if any company did that, I'd probably go with that company. So I'm curious to see, is it just people just, maybe they don't lose as many discs as I do, because I lose way too many. But I'd be curious.
Maple
to
Hill,
see,
Buffalo for you.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see like kind of who's buying those more premium discs. And don't get us wrong, we're not, if you're buying that, we're not knocking you at all. I think, you know, I've bought discs for like, I bought a P1X D-line for like $50. That thing is like in the back of my trunk, crumpled up. Like I don't use it at all. So I understand the allure in the collector's market and all that. So we're not trying to knock you at all. I'm just curious to see as like, what's the reasoning or why the more expensive discs sometimes appeal to people. It'd be a interesting conversation that I would just want to know. So chat.
So this is kind of my take on it. And I know someone had just said, I'm not sure if I'm gonna see the comment again. JT Disc Golf, he said, I think the Ricky thing needs to stop for the most part the last few years. Innovo's about the same price for Tour Series ones with their Halo plastic normally. It's also very premium plastic. Totally understand that. Don't get me wrong. I know premium price plastic is going to go up, especially when you put a player's name on it. It is going to go up significantly. I felt like $42 was the most I've ever seen for one disc after shipping and everything like that. Support the players, though. I mean, don't get me wrong. If I was an unsponsored player, Paul's still one of my favorite players, Simon, I would still buy their discs. Now, I wouldn't be able to buy a lot of them at once, but this is kind of my next take. And we were talking, I think after the show, a little bit about this last week or 2 weeks ago, is you have Ricky's new disc is the General. I don't know the exact flight numbers on it. I think it's a 12 speed or a 13 speed. You have the Destroyer, you have the Zeus, you have the Nuke, the Force. All those discs kind of hold a specific slot in everyone's bag. It's that 12 or 13 speed, overstable distance driver that you can mash on with some flight. Now, I don't know if the General has newer technology, that much premium plastic to where maybe it does go further than the other discs in that specific lineup. But, for me, I can look at it to where, okay, the General is $42 for one disc, or I can buy a Zeus, which pretty much does the same thing for $22 a disc. I kind of look at it like that. After shipping and receiving, it'll probably go up to $28 a disc. That's kind of how I look at it. But, definitely, I don't know, kind of all that. But Ben, you said we have someone in the green room.
We have
Do you see who it
one
is?
person in the green room. I can't see them for some reason, but
I saw Ricky absolutely smoke his disc, the General, at Milo. Like, he was crushing it, don't get me wrong. I think Ricky is one of the best golf distance throwers in our game right now. I'm going to let Ben figure out his side.
Yeah, guest, if you're there, let us know if you can hear us. They're giving. Oh, yeah, we can hear you. So let me see. Let me just try that. There we go. Let me try this, and it worked.
We have Zach here.
Hey,
Zach, you are from the Paul McBeth Foundation, and I want you to give I'm going to hop off screen for a second. I'm going to give you the time. Give yourself a brief introduction. How'd you get into the sport, and then how'd you become a part of the Paul McBeth Foundation?
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks for having me tonight. Really excited to be here. My name is Zachary Smith. I live in Tampa, Florida, and Director of Operations with the Paul McBeth Foundation. And I started playing in 2015, mostly in college at St. Leo University. We had 2 baskets on campus, and my friend and I were like, hey, we would love to get 7 more. And it just so happened that the university had 7 more just sitting around. So we got to design a disc golf course. And then from there, started playing a lot of tournaments, interned at the PDGA, started working with Eagles Wings Disc Golf, and then joined the Paul McBeth Foundation shortly after it got started. And just really excited to share about our project in New York City this past weekend.
Very cool. Ben, are you still there?
Yeah. I didn't know.
I was going to say, you can jump right in
you were
whenever.
back.
Yeah. No,
sorry.
I'm back. Had to change my shirt. Sorry.
From
Everyone was making fun of me.
chess.com. That's hilarious.
So, Zach,
Yeah.
tell us about this massive project that you guys just did.
Yeah, so we got to introduce disc golf to Highland Park. It's straddles Brooklyn and Queens in the Big Apple. Previously, there had been no disc golf courses in the space of nearly 9 million people, and now 9 million people have access to disc golf, easily accessible by public transit and obviously by car and bike. And we got a 9-hole course plus 1. There's an extra hole, kind of a bonus hole on the course, and it went really well this past weekend. We had our grand opening. We got Paul out there, got a couple sweet aces of his already on social media floating around. And it was really great to work with the New York City Disc Golf Association. I'm repping their shirt tonight, one of their nice crew neck t-shirt or sweatshirts.
Very nice.
So if you want some gear from them, I know they're selling them online. But it's been an awesome, long process to finally get through all the red tape to get a disc golf course within New York City, but it is there, and now it's the only one that people have access to inside the city.
Yeah,
Talk to us a little about.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, I just have a quick question. Maybe this is your question, Nick. How do you go about that process? Is it just like that was part of your question? How do you go about
Pretty
that
much,
process?
yeah.
Are you like, I just don't understand. There's land. Like, who do you talk to? Do you go straight up to the government and be like, "Yo, I want to do this"? But obviously, that's probably not the case. But tell us how you actually get these courses in a huge city like New York City.
Yeah, so generally our process is we need to find somebody on the ground that really cares about the sport and wants to see it in a new place. And one of our requirements is that they work with a local landowner to get the approval, and then we obviously assume or decide whether or not this is going to provide access to new people. And if it does, then we will move forward. In this scenario, we had tons of people reaching out all the time, like, hey, you need to go do a course in New York City. There's no disc golf there. But most of the time, people are reaching out like it's just a dream. but it was Alex Bender and Alex Hoyle about 2 years ago, almost at this point, that reached out and were some of our first legitimate leads to actually move forward. And so we had lots of meetings with New York City Parks and all of their commissioners and departments to figure out which course or which park would be best for the first course there. And Highland Park, which is the one we got to install in, was the first and kind of best choice that the parks presented to us, and the one that we kind of agreed upon as kind of that introductory one, in hopes that this one goes well. And then we can continue to expand outside of Highland Park and get a few more courses in New York City. One thing that I was surprised about is that there are so many more green spaces in New York City than I think most people realize, definitely more than I realized. And there is a lot of potential for more courses in the city. And hopefully, with all of the support that we have from people going out and playing and recording their rounds and being able to show the parks like how beneficial disc golf is to their park and why it's good for the community, that we can kind of proceed with getting another course at another location soon.
And how does it work with, sponsors helping out? I know Discraft was a big part of this one. What is kind of their role with everything, in a project like this?
Yeah, so this one, obviously, as you've kind of stated, this is a massive project, definitely reaching more people than anybody we've ever reached before. And because of that, we knew that to be the most successful and to bring in more partners was going to give it more exposure, and really let everybody know that this course exists. So Discraft was instrumental in helping us get the baskets there. We got them shipped there. It was just funny. Typically we have to figure out where are we going to store these baskets. So we had to rent a storage unit, got the baskets delivered there. And then as soon as we got the green light to actually install them, we got to pull them out and install them. We did turf tee pads at this park. With all of the red tape, it didn't make sense to put in concrete or try to build up like a nice base for the pads. So it's actually turf pads just right on the ground that are nailed in the ground with just a little bit of crushed rock underneath. So it looks really nice, feels great. But outside of Discraft, we had support from the PDGA and UDisc. And I think UDisc has been talking to many people for quite a long time about New York City, just because they've been running all of the statistics and see that New York City was the #1 place in America for disc golf opportunity. And now that we have one there, it is still the #1 place in America for disc golf opportunity, even though we have 10 holes in the city. So it's been great to work with just so many partners to really highlight how big this project is and the impact that it's going to have.
Definitely.
And I can't go without stating too, like the New York Disc Golf Association, they've kind of started over this past year as well and have been established by two guys there, Alex Bender and Alex Hoyle, who had mentioned were kind of our first legitimate leads to getting a course. And now they've started this club, which is a 501c3 nonprofit, and they're starting to run events and leagues and bag tags. So it's really going to be a thriving community just right off the bat, which is a little bit different than a lot of our communities that we've worked in, because most of the time, no one in the place that we're going to knows anything about disc golf. But obviously in New York City, lots of people do know about it. Many more don't, but lots of people do know about it and are ready to jump in and help right off the bat.
Gotcha. Before we keep going, Ben, you said we think we have Missy in the room as well.
Yep, Missy, are you all set? If you can hear us.
I can hear you.
Alrighty.
Here she is.
We have Missy Gannon, whose accolades there are way too many to introduce, but just recently was over at the Paul McBeth Foundation Project in New York City. Missy, tell us about your experience there. What was kind of your role with everything? And then, we've seen you do this multiple times now. What do you do?
Yeah, for me it was really special because, I grew up about 2 hours north of New York City, and I have some really cool ties and connections to some of the disc golf clubs, a little bit more upstate, but certainly within a reasonable distance to this new course. So I got to see a few people that I did play some winter leagues with, just a few short years ago, that came down for this event. But in general, I was just really excited to be a part of, you know, establishing this course in New York City, somewhere that I've been many, many times growing up. And yeah, I'm really just there to help. I'm a very, very small part, but I helped teach some of the kids that came from the local school on Friday, and I think it was roughly 100 kids, and their teachers and the principal, and then we also had some NYPD officers come and check it out. They were very curious about what was going on, and they got to throw a few shots too, so that was really cool. But yeah, just be there to help bring attention to this course, and you know, have some fun with the locals and throw some shots, have some fun challenges, and yeah. So although I feel like it was a small part, I was so happy to be there.
Well, I was just about to say you spend majority of your year traveling week in and week out and competing disc golf as your full-time job. You deal with the stresses of travel, you deal with the stresses of playing tournaments, and then you have a weekend like this where you do get to go back to your home state and you get to kind of be a part of something that's so much bigger than going out and making a paycheck in the sport. Kind of talk to us a little bit about that and kind of the, you know, help for the future generations in our sport.
Yeah, I mean it kind of all worked out really well. We're on an off week. So when these dates were proposed and I was asked if I could make it, I said yes right away. And it's kind of nice to break it up a little bit. I feel like I've been in the pro scene now for, about what, 6 years or so. And, I've been the beneficiary of a lot of people just wanting to help support me and how I've been able to come up in the sport. And I think that it's really important to me to give back and to be a part of these organizations like the Paul McBeth Foundation, is just a really great way to help with that. And it's like you mentioned, I've been on this scene for a while, and um, it's just really cool to see the sport, grow so much since 2018 when I joined the tour. Um, and so anything that I can do to give back, I'm just so ready and willing to do that. And it just fills my heart with, so much joy and happiness to see other people enjoy the sport that has given me so much in my life. So it's just really, really awesome to be a part of.
Gotcha. That is awesome. I have a question from someone who's pretty well known in the sport. I won't say who it is, but he goes, "Let's see. Why did you make your partner carry you in worst shot doubles?"
Wait. What? Say that
Paul
again. Read
Paul
that again.
texted me. He goes, "Why'd hold on? Sorry, my phone kept shutting off. Why'd she make me carry her in worst shot doubles?" So
Well,
apparently you didn't bring your part in.
okay. He only really came through in the end, to be honest. So let's just keep that straight. But no, it was really cool. I mean, we both played really well, and he just happened to have a few highlights at the end that were just amazing. And I mean that is what we want to show them, right? The excitement of throwing the disc in the basket on the first shot, or just on any shot. To be able to make a shot like that is going to just help so many people, want to do it for themselves and try it and continue to throw the frisbee or throw the disc like we do. So yeah, honestly, we couldn't have asked for a better set of circumstances and
Yeah.
events.
I gotcha. I think that's one of the great things about our sport, and we've talked about this on the show before, is, we have a pretty large basket that the discs catch, and so it's easier for us to get those big throw-ins, a couple aces. We see that happen a lot more than you do in golf.
Mhm.
So people coming out who have really never seen the sport before, you have 100 people watching and someone throws it in from 200 feet or 250 feet, everyone's going to go ballistic because that's just the
Mhm.
coolest thing that they're going to see all day. How many people were able to attend kind of throughout this process that you guys were there? How many people do you think were playing the course or even just coming to hang out?
Well, Zach, you could probably answer this better, maybe specifically with numbers, but for me, I just want to say, like, it almost felt so on Saturday when we had a lot of club members or people from clubs across, maybe lower New York. It felt like we were playing in a huge gallery. For me, it had so many of those vibes of just just seeing people surrounding us and behind us and cheering for us was like, I don't know, it was wild. It felt like a lot of people, and it was well over 100, I think.
Very cool. Zach, do you have
Yeah,
any? I was saying, do you have any exact numbers or anything like that?
yeah. So we had a little over 100 people actually sign up to participate to randomly get drawn to play best shot triples against Paul and Missy, who are playing worst shot doubles. And so that was great. And then we had 103 people play our officially sanctioned PDGA round. No ratings were issued. So we know that there was at least 105, 110 people, and then there were easily another 40 or 50 that were there, either staff just watching, figuring out what's going on, and then that doesn't even account for any of the people of the community that were just there figuring out, like, hey, what are these 150 people doing walking through this park that I
Yeah,
come out here and grill on Saturdays to enjoy my peace and quiet? But now there's 150 people like tossing this disc into this metal thing. Like, what is going on? So it was really cool to see.
very cool. So, what was the point of kind of 10 holes versus 9 holes, 18 holes?
Yeah, so the park itself definitely only had space for about 9 holes, and the 10th hole was kind of a bonus hole because of public transit. So most of the people that would be coming from the subway are going to enter the park from a different direction than where the main parking lots are. And so the New York City guys were like, hey, we should have one more hole here so that when people get off the subway, they can kind of have this either as a bonus hole at the end or just play right off the bat to kind of just get themselves warmed up. And so the main layout is really just 9 holes, and then that bonus hole is there for most of the
Very
people
cool.
coming on public transit.
A good little flow to it. What are kind of your
Yeah.
average distances on a course where 9 holes is kind of as much as you can get?
Yeah, for most of our courses that we install, we're focused on the introductory level. So super beginner, anywhere from 150 to about 225 feet are the majority of them. I know we had one hole that I was think was around 256, and then that 10th hole was actually around 330. So you can actually throw
Okay.
a decent shot there, but the majority of them are in that 150 to 225 range.
And realistically, if you were to go out, obviously, I know it's a super populated area. The course is probably going to get played a lot by a lot of people. But if you were to go out there by yourself, no waiting, how quickly do you think you could play around? Is this kind of get out on your lunch break, go spend 30 to 45 minutes there, hang out, and then you're back to work, or longer, shorter?
Yeah, if you're by yourself, 20, 25 minutes, you can get it done. It's really easily walkable. There's actually some good hills that you can kind of throw on, but all the holes really mesh well together and you can play it pretty quick. So it's super easy for those that are near. Get off their lunch break, go play around, get back to work.
Very cool. Missy, do you feel like you're going to be involved in any more of these kind of projects that are upcoming? I know the Paul McBeth Foundation probably has stuff planned on and on and on, but do you feel like you want to or are going to be a part of more of these projects?
Yeah, I would love to. Zach and I have already really spoken about this. Whenever they need some extra people, I'm always ready. As long as it works out schedule wise, I'm more than happy and willing. And this is officially my second project with the Paul McBeth Foundation. So yeah, we've got a good little rapport going, and yeah, I've already expressed my willingness to do more in the future. So I would love to.
Very cool. I'm just
Mhm.
getting questions from the chat, questions on text messages, and so sometimes kind of deciphering them. But from Hannah actually was saying how we haven't seen a lot of this stuff happen in women's disc golf. A lot of women's disc golfers going out. We now see Edge program, you play. We do see a lot of different ones. But how do you feel this also? I mean, majority of the sport. You guys can tell me how many people came out to this event. Males versus females. Did it feel like there was a lot of females that also came out to this event?
Yeah, there were several women there. Obviously it's still going to be predominantly men, but um, it I think what was really cool was with when the children from the school came, there were several woman teachers, and they were really getting into it too. I mean, they all, I was handing out the discs to the children, and the teachers would be like, yeah, yeah, I would like to try too. So I think it's just really really a really good mix. But I think that getting the discs into children's hands, and then hopefully they can go back to their parents or guardians and tell them about the sport. That yeah, it'll help get more women into the sport in general. There was a mom out there who had her two little boys out there, and she was like, "Yeah, I've never really thrown a disc before, but I'm gonna go play the little sanctioned event, and I'm gonna give it a try." So yeah, any little thing that we can do to grow the sport in any way is going to inevitably get more women into the sport. So I think it was a success overall.
Absolutely. Zach, you were mentioning people, are out there grilling, stuff like that, kind of seeing what's going on. What else is the park used for? And where you guys designed and put this course, does anything else like that come into play?
Yeah, so this park has quite a few amenities. I don't know the exact size, but overall, it's connected to another park called Forest Park, and I believe it's a well over 100-acre park right there in Brooklyn and Queens. So this Upper Highland section really doesn't have a whole lot outside of walking trails, and a sport called volley that I was taught is an Ecuadorian game that they have a little bit higher net than volleyball, and they set up on the concrete, put up their own net, and then play. So outside of that, there wasn't too much going on other than just some really beautiful walking paths. And there's a few baseball fields that were kind of not really being used anymore. They built new ones, so these ones don't get used. But that section of the park now, I think, will definitely be known just for disc golf. Outside of just the general people coming out to picnic, people brought out portable grills and they set up under a tree typically. So outside of that, there's really not a whole lot now except for disc golf.
Very cool. Ben?
Yeah, sorry. I was about to talk and my throat just didn't work. So yeah, I have a question kind of not related to the New York park, but what project from the Paul McBeth Foundation have you seen the most growth in so far? Do you know at all where like one course that you put in started like climbing and now there's like 1,000 rounds per month? If you can talk about that, I'm actually very interested.
Yeah, so I would say there's two that really stick out to me. The first one being our first ever project, which is really great to be able to say we kind of hit a home run with our first project in La Paz, Mexico. And they have really taken on their sport and have owned it. And that is what we really want to see at all of our projects. When we have a project driver that we work alongside that really owns it after we've installed it, those are always going to be our most successful ones. So in La Paz, they start out with 9 holes. Within a year, they've already got up to 18 holes. Paul's been back there. They've had some sanctioned events, and they have really loved it. But I wouldn't say by pure numbers they are the biggest one because of just their location. It's a little more remote, but that community themselves has just grown a lot. And then outside of that, I would say Colombia and Uganda are definitely the two biggest growing ones. Colombia had some sort of frisbee community and disc golf community already kind of established before the course became permanent there. That's probably, outside of Madrid, our most played course because of access and number of people. And then the one that's really was just completely fresh and has grown the most, in my opinion, is the one in Uganda. We have another really dedicated project driver there that set up a nonprofit for disc golf in their country, is going to get it approved by the Federation of Sport for their country to receive government funding for disc golf. He's traveled across a couple countries now to play disc golf in Kenya and Zambia for sanctioned events, and they're teaching clinics all the time. And literal thousands and thousands of kids have been taught how to play disc golf from UPlay's involvement, going there and doing the educational trip, passing on how they teach disc golf to Israel and his team of people at the university. And they have went out and actually taught thousands and thousands of people in Uganda how to play.
That's awesome.
That's incredible.
Do you have any insight? Can you share kind of where is the next project, or is that still all hush hush right now?
Yeah, so we just announced one last week, actually. We are heading to Burgas, Bulgaria, so located right on the Black Sea in Eastern Europe. Really excited for this one because we've already worked in Eastern Europe once in Montenegro, but it's kind of a dead zone for disc golf. I think most disc golfers hear of Europe and like, oh, there's lots of disc golf in Europe, obviously with Finland and Sweden and Norway. But down in Eastern Europe, in the southern kind of part, there's no courses really at all. So it's the first course in Montenegro. We're gonna do the first course in Bulgaria, and then coming up in a couple weeks, we have an announcement for a third course in Eastern Europe. So stay tuned for that one.
So you guys are busy.
Yeah.
Yes,
I actually
always.
I actually have a question for Missy. You've kind of been at these projects a few times and playing with the community and such. Can you just tell us of a fond memory that you have of kind of the introducing someone to disc golf at these projects, or your favorite memory from actually being on site?
Gosh, there are so many. I mean, I was a part of the project in Uganda, the course installation, and we did some teaching and clinics and stuff too. So just, I think overall, bringing a sport to a country that really had no idea about it, and being able to see, not only we went to a smaller community in Katosi, where we mostly taught children and their teachers. It's always such a joy to watch kids throw the disc for the first time, and I was saying, it doesn't matter, no matter where anybody is from, it's a universal thing. The like scream of joy from these kids, is it happens every time, every place, no matter where you are. And it's so cool to spread that kind of joy and excitement through disc golf. And and on the other side of that, we also went to Neje University and in Uganda, and those people are some of the most competitive people that I have ever met, and it's amazing because that's why it's growing so much in Uganda. Like Zach mentioned, Israel and his team the chancellor of the college, they want to be the best at everything, and that is just such a cool thing to have been a part of, adding a sport to their university, and that they just want to take it and run with it and try to be the best at it. So yeah, I think it's so hard to pinpoint one thing, but I think my experience in Uganda and seeing both the children and the college students and adults just want to just completely absorb it, and and take it and run with it, it was probably one of the best memories I've had overall for the entire experience.
If you had to pick somewhere, Missy, where would you install the next Paul McBeth Foundation project?
Oh,
You
oh
get
boy.
anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world, geez. That's a tough one. Do they have it in like Ireland or something? We got a lot of traditional golfers out there. I think
Yeah,
that would be really cool. I'm also Irish, so maybe I'm just a little biased, but
gotcha. I'm going to Scotland in a few days, and so I'm going to start scoping out so I can text Paul and be like,
yeah,
"Yes, we got to put it here in Scotland so I can come back."
Yeah,
yeah.
there is not very much disc golf there. We have received a couple requests. Nothing's come to fruition yet, but
Okay,
Missy, when we make it happen, you can come along.
Great, sounds
put me
good.
on the list too. I want to be
That's
there.
what we'll do.
Well, I was just about to ask. Now, this is kind of as a final part to this is how can the community get involved to help out the Paul McBeth Foundation? I know one thing Zach and I have talked about, and we actually did it right after the chess.com invitational, was running a flex start with proceeds going to the Paul McBeth Foundation as well. How are other ways that the general disc golf community can help out you guys?
Yeah, I think that's a great way to get involved. If you're a tournament director and have event experience, doing the tournament director partnership program is a great way. We get to reward you pretty well, some cool prizes, and you get to give back to the Paul McBeth Foundation. But if you're not a tournament director, something that is available for every individual, if you don't know where to get started, it's joining the Builders Club. We actually have a team challenge right now to get to 200 active members, and we're really pushing hard to invite people to join, whether it's $5 a month or $100 a month, to support the ongoing work that we're doing is extremely critical. And this Builders Club is really laying the foundation for what we can do in the future. I think there's a lot of big things that can happen across the world with disc golf, and it's all going to tie back to this group of people that we call the Builders Club. So that is definitely the place to go, and definitely appreciate you guys all having me on tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you, Missy and Zach, once again for coming on the show. This project has been kind of one of the cooler ones that we've seen in a while. Definitely one of the most hyped up ones. We're excited to see a lot more footage of it. And once again, thank you guys for all that you're doing in the sport.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks
Take
for having
it
us.
easy. Have a good
Good
night.
one. Thank you.
Bye.
You too.
So, Zach and Missy, Zach being with the Paul McBeth Foundation, Missy, obviously pro disc golfer, kick-ass FPO player, and then also helping out with Paul McBeth Foundation stuff. I think one of the words I think I was thinking of earlier was like the philanthropy, I think is what you call it.
Yeah.
Kind of what Paul is
Giving
doing
back,
with, the giving back aspect of his career. Still an incredible player, but able to get a great crew of people and really kind of elevate the sport in such a different way. We've seen him elevate the sport in the competitive side of things, but now we're also seeing it in just the everyday local community. I've had people just driving up and down the street that we have Olympus on who stop in every so often when the gates open. And they're like, hey, I live down the road and I've heard so much about this place. I've come to check it out. And I always feel bad because I'm like, Olympus is definitely not the first course you ever want to play. But when people play, they're like, oh, I only got 9 holes in, but next time I'm going to come out and play the back 9. And then I see them for weeks on and week on. So definitely cool to see what is happening in the disc golf world and kind of a positive aspect to it. I know Ed Root just asked, is Paul still donating his tournament winnings to the foundation? And actually the foundation just commented, yes, he is, which I was going to say, I'm 99% sure he is. So his tournament winnings are still going to help out the Paul McBeth Foundation, which I think is absolutely incredible as well.
I might be a little biased because I'm half Puerto Rican, but there recently was another one on the mainland, but we need another course in Puerto Rico. When I go down there every summer, it's dry. But
You were just
at least
down
they
in,
put one on the mainland, not the Paul McBeth Foundation, I don't believe, but they did. Someone put one on the mainland finally.
Yeah. You were just down in Lynchburg, weren't you?
I was down in Lynchburg.
What were you doing down there?
So I had a wedding in Cumberland, Virginia. Do you know if you know where that is? It's like an hour east. But there was just no Airbnbs around there. It was kind of like the boonies, it seemed like. So we had to stay in Lynchburg, and I actually stayed right behind what you said was one of your favorite courses.
Sandusky.
Or practice courses. Yeah, Sandusky. It was literally right there. Unfortunately, I didn't get any opportunity to play any disc golf. Like I really wanted to hit up
New London.
Yeah. But I actually got to hang out with Josh from Yes, I'll hopefully come back down, but I got to hang out with Josh from Overthrow. We played Halo till like 3 a.m. So that was fun, but I'm definitely bummed I didn't get to play, but I'll definitely be back to Lynchburg for Worlds this year. Josh, if you got that mattress sack I can sleep in your office, let me know. Let's make it happen.
Hey, I know, and it's definitely not available during the Worlds weeks, but if anyone's ever traveling through the Lynchburg, Virginia area, and you look up Airbnbs, look up the one in Good, Virginia. And my buddy Josh, it's actually the old apartment that I used to live in before I moved back up to Massachusetts and now officially down in Florida. But that apartment is now available for Airbnbs. So if you guys are ever in the area, check it out. It's an awesome pad. And guess what? You literally walk outside and you're on hole 11 of Goliath. And if it's upkept, I haven't been there in forever. I'm sure it's mowed every single day like it used to be. But you're right on a disc golf course. So.
And now I have a place to stay. Shout out Josh for Worlds.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. So we are at the fun part of the show. Now, we do not have all the gizmos, the gadgets, the music, or anything like that, but we are going to talk about Pop, Drop, and Lock because we have the Preserve Championships coming up this week. So I'm going to do this all from my phone because that is where everyone has sent.
Don't
Tim
forget,
G.
Presented by Hooligan Discs. So
presented by Hooligan.
Shout out, I'll let you. Hooligan Discs code stands 10 if you want 10% off your entire order. They are doing some really special things. They're coming out with the Cash, the new iteration in their new plastic very soon, and their first run is going to be in a very special plastic. So keep your eye out for that. But yeah, shout out Hooligan Discs for presenting this episode, and just go check them out. Also, I'm running a Hooligan Discs Flex at Maple Hill July 12th. So if you want to come hang out with me and get 2 discs from, you get a dime and a vibe if you sign up, and it's only $35, and you top 40% get payouts, and we're playing the diamond layout. So that is the first diamond layout flex ever. So it's going to be an incredible time. I'll be there. So come hang out. Thank you, Hooligan.
Very cool. Thank you to Hooligan Discs for that. So, actually, Ben, do you have any idea the leaderboard from last week?
Dude,
Do you
yeah,
know?
I'll bring it. I'll tell you exactly, because it's just like, so
Actually, hold on. Yeah.
I got it right here. Last week we did it by rating, and I was a little bummed. I got absolutely obliterated. I came in dead last with a negative 35. So, we'll just start with that. I had a negative 35 because of the ratings change, and it's definitely a bummer, but you know, it's part of the game, I guess. We had Evan with a 6, so it was a rough. No one had as rough a time as me. We had Josh who had 16. Matt had 26, and then Nick, the leader.
Somehow,
of it
some
all,
way, I got it all.
you got
With 30 points.
30.
I placed
yes.
54th out of 111. But his name is Tim G. Pink Toad 4515. You are the winner, so we are going to get your contact stuff and send you out a disc from Hooligan Discs.
Yes.
So now going into the Preserve Championships, and I will start it out actually with picks of my own. And then Ben, I'll let you do yours, and then I have the rest of the guys' stuff, and we can go from there. So,
Yep.
Preserve Championships. I'll start with the FPO side. My pop pick, Vanessa Van Dyken. My drop is Ella Hansen. Only reason being, I think she's averaging like 8th or 9th right now. And even though this is probably a course, this is definitely a course that she could win week in and week out. I'm just kind of hoping for a couple extra points this week. And then my lock is actually Paige Pierce. I think she's got the bug back, and I think she's back in it to win it. So I'm excited to see how she does this week as well. MPO side, Austin Hannum, I think he's averaging around 87th. So even getting 50th or 40th place for him is a ton of points. So I went with Austin Hannum for that. Mason Ford is my drop. Such a consistent player. Same thing, just kind of hoping to get some points right now. And then my lock, Aaron Goose Gossage. I think this is his event. He's
It's a good pick.
power thrower. We haven't seen him a ton lately. I think this is one that I could do really well at. So those are my picks. Ben?
Yeah, I'll just run through my picks real quickly. We're going MPO pop. We're going with Drew Gibson. MPO drop, Luke Humphreys. I skipped the Luke Humphreys drop last week, and I'm so appreciative I did that because he went off and played disgusting. MPO lock, I'm going Ricky Wysocki.
Nice.
FPO pop, Madison Walker isn't playing apparently, so I have, for the first time in like 7 weeks, I have to go with
I have to change it up.
Montgomery.
There you go.
And then FBO drop, I'm going on Scoggins. I mean, same reason as you. It's just she's averaging so high, and I don't know. I'm just hoping
You kinda just
to
hope for some
not lose
points.
points. I lost so many points. I don't even know how I'm going to get him back. FBO lock, I'm going Ella Hansen.
Ella Hansen. That's your lock?
That's my lock.
Yeah, so we're completely opposite on that one. I'm going to go with Josh right now, since he was the first one I pulled up. His pop pick is Simon Lazat. What is Simon averaging to where pop is?
24th,
Let's see,
so
like the
it's a weird pick.
24th,
I'm not
okay.
going to lie.
I like that. I mean, because if Simon goes out and gets like a podium finish, it's 20 points. That's a lot of points in this game.
Yeah.
Kyle Klein as his drop. Now, I love that just because Kyle averages so well. But every single time I pick him as a drop, it has failed me miserably. So maybe it'll work out for Josh. His lock is Ricky Wysocki. On the FPO side, last year's winner, Katrina Allen, is his FPO pop pick. His FPO drop is Ella Hansen. And his FPO lock is Owen Scoggins. I
We
like it.
flip-flopped.
Let's see. And then I've got Matt Graham. Once again, we picked the same pop, which is Austin Hannum. His drop is Jake Kiebenheimer, and his lock is Ricky Wysocki. For the pop side, Emily Beach. FPO drop is Rebecca,
Higgins,
I'm assuming
Emily
Rebecca
Beach.
Cox. And then lock is Paige Pierce. I swear, Matt and I, we've been playing disc golf for a long time together now. We have a lot of the same ideas. And that is Matt's. And then let me find Evan really quick. Evan, MPO side, his pop is Garrett Gerthy. His lock is Ricky Wysocki. On the FPO side, his pop is Paige Pierce, and his lock is Paige Pierce. And then his drops are Matt's pops now. So let's see. His drops
So he
are
switched it
Austin
over?
Hannum. He switched it over. So his drops
That makes no sense.
are Austin Hannum and Emily Beach. And those are...
No, that's his Emily Beach. How is he dropping?
That's his Emily Beach, and he's
That's
dropped her
crazy.
this week. I know. Crazy.
So
Crazy
I'm
from
confused
Evan.
why he switched over. I mean, I thought
don't
that
know.
was
I
thought
was
it was
kinda
the
hoping he'd
rule that
just
he had
start
to go
picking
with
his
me.
own, you know?
He went to Matt.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, I'm fine. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe he's sick of dropping Madison Walker.
Yeah, probably.
Who knows? Yeah. The same thing over. Matt's got a little bit of parody. So,
Yes.
anyways, everybody in the disc golf world, we know this is probably one of our shortest episodes ever.
But there's a good
But
reason.
There's a good reason. Celtics in 5, baby. We were hoping for banner number 18 to be thrown up tonight. They start at around 8:30. I'm going out to go watch the game. If somehow, some way I had an extra mortgage payment, I would have flown to Boston and gone to a game. I just don't have $2,000 to spend on tickets for a game that they might lose. And knowing me, if I go there, they would probably lose. So, anyways, shorter episode. Everyone's doing some vacation stuff. I'm going to miss you guys actually I think just next Monday. I think I come back the Monday after that, if I'm not mistaken. So I think I might only be gone for 1 week show-wise. I'll be flying back into town, I think, that following Monday. And I'm sure we'll have a show
How long is that flight?
It is, so I think I'm leaving Boston at 6 p.m. It's a 6-hour flight, but they're also 6 hours ahead of us. And so I think I land in Scotland around 6 or 7 in the morning.
Oh, 6 hour flight is
not
nothing.
bad.
That's not bad at all. I was expecting way more for some reason.
Oh, everybody, by the way, for the people that are still in the show, before we end this, I went to Cactus Rock recently. Finally got a chance to get up to Alabama and check out that place. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. If you guys don't already follow Cactus Rock, it is the other course that Dylan Cease owns along with the Williams brothers. They're the crew that goes out, maintains, and has created that place with the help of Paul McBeth's design. But what a course. For anyone that came out and celebrated, we did a casual opening day. It's not open to the public yet, but we did a casual, hey, anyone feel free to come out. It was super, super fun, super incredible. The course in and of itself, though, is probably easily one of my favorite courses I've ever played. And the reason being is it's a lot of wood. I should say it's pretty much all wooded shots and just a lot of placement shots. There's only one hole, 2 holes where I need to throw my max distance to get to the landing zone, but it's all in the woods. Beautiful modified pine trees throughout the whole place. It's definitely, if we could figure out the cell service out there and how to get it out there, this is a place that could eventually be on the Pro Tour, if not a major. We talk about Champions Cup and that would major. I can't think of a better place than if we can somehow get it at Cactus Rock. So, anyways, that place was sick. But happy Monday to everyone. Thank you so much. Normally there's a little bit of piano music going on right now, but we wanted to do a fun casual episode. So thank you guys for tuning in on this awesome Monday night. We wish the best to you all. We love you guys so much. Thank you for sticking around with us week in and week out. This is episode 194 presented by Disc Golf 978. Go check them out. And Hooligan Discs. Go check them out as well. Tell someone you love them this week. We'll catch you guys in the next one.
Ben, you're awesome. Nick, you're awesome. Matt, you're awesome. Evan, you're
Like,
awesome.
subscribe, comment, all that good stuff.
Do all that. All right. Thank you guys.